Hi, this is Happy Bird from happybirdscraftinghaven.com, and I'm here today to show you how to make this cute little no-sew Christmas mouse from Dollar Tree socks. And this is actually a child-sized Dollar Tree sock, and this is a toddler sock that I used for his little hat. This is extremely easy to put together, and it's also very inexpensive. So I hope you like this little mouse, and I will show you how to make it. Okay, so I'm going to set this little guy aside. Now, the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need Dollar Tree socks, and this was hanging up. They had a lot of white socks, especially this time of year. And this was a kid's size 4 to a 6.5. It's the athletic sock, and there's 2 pairs, so you get 4 socks for each package. And it looks like this. Okay, and so the first thing that I did was I cut the elastic part of the sock off, and we're going to save this for another future project. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to fill this with white rice. And let me give you a little tip. The first mouse I did, I had some extra brown rice in the cupboard. It was kind of old, so I decided I was going to use that. Well, I didn't even stop and think that when you fill it with rice, of course, sock stretches, and you can see color behind the sock. Well, I noticed the sock for some reason didn't look as white. It looked a little on the dingy side. Then it dawned on me that you could see the brown on the brown rice through the sock. So it's best if you stick with white rice. Okay. I'm going to shake it down. I'm going to pour some more in here. And just keep hitting it like this on the surface to make sure that everything is shaken down. I might put a little more rice in there. If you were to ask me roughly how much rice I used, it depends, on the socks that you get, but I'm thinking it was probably a scant cup, somewhere around there. Yeah. Okay, so this looks pretty good. You want it nice and full. Okay, so I'm going to take one of the little clear elastic rubber bands. You can find these in the hair care section where all the little girls' barrettes and things like that are. And I've seen them, of course, at the Dollar Tree. And I've also seen them at these little 99-cent stores. So I'm just going to wrap that around about 3 times. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to kind of work with my finger about how much I want for the mouse's head, which is about like this. So I'm going to put another clear rubber band about where I want the neck to be. Now I'm going to try to wrap this around twice over the head without breaking it. I don't know if I can. I'm going to try. No, I don't think I can. I'm going to have to just leave it at that. Okay. Which is fine. As you can tell, it kind of makes an indent. So now I'm going to take some upholstery thread let's see. I do the upholstery thread. Oh, right here. Okay. I'm going to cut some off. You can buy this upholstery thread at Walmart, and it's in with a regular thread, and if you look very tiny, it says upholstery. And this is super, super strong thread. And I'm just going to tie the neck like this. Just because I don't want, you know, the rubber band to break. If it breaks, then I don't have to worry about it because I have it tied with upholstery thread. There we go. And then one more time. Alrighty. Then I'm going to cut this right here. Alright. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this top part off like that. You want to leave a little because you don't want it to come apart. Then you're going to use some Turbo Tacky Glue by Aleene's. And I'm just going to be generous about it and put quite a bit of this on the top because you don't want it to fray, and it also helps this knot to come apart. Okay. Alright. So the next thing you're going to do is you're going to take a little toddler sock and you're going to cut right here straight across the middle of the heel, and you're going to use this part with the elastic to put over the head like a hat. Okay, so I'm going to use, I just use that as an example. I'm going to use this one right here. Okay, and I'm going to put this on the head, and it almost looks like a snowman at first, but we're not making this into a snowman. Okay, so I'm going to take some upholstery thread and I'm just going to tie a couple of overhand knots. I've got glue on my fingers right here. About like here. In fact, I'm going to move this camera up so you can see better. Okay. So I'm going to do it about like that, okay? And then I'm going to tie another knot in it. There we go. And then a third knot. Okay. Alrighty. So it's quite a bit of that left. So I'm going to cut a little off. About like that. You want to leave some. And then you're going to come back in with your scissors and just cut little slices like this. Make fringe. And when you do that, this, material here will just naturally curl over. See how it's doing that? And it's really cute when you're finished with this. And just take your time. And you can make up little adoption certificates like I suggested in my snowman sock video. You can, make them out on Word where, each person has a little adoption certificate when they choose their little Christmas mouse as they come into your house. I set the snowmen out that I made in a little basket and did that. And boy, they really went over well. Okay, so see all the little curls and stuff? Isn't that cute? All right. So now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make the ears. And believe it or not, the ears were very simple to make. And I'll show you how I did that. I took a piece of pastel pink and white felt. And with the white felt, I just took my upholstery thread and a mechanical pencil and just traced the bottom here in a circle. I made 2 of these circles and then I cut them out. I did the same thing here, only I didn't use this. I wanted something that was slightly smaller, as you can tell. You can use anything. Bottle cap, anything you can find. Made two circles on the pink. Sorry. I made 2 circles right here on the pink, and I cut those out as well. So we had 2 of the smaller circles in the pink, 2 of the larger circles in the white. Okay, and I have those right here. They don't have to be perfect, just, do them the best you can. Okay. And then the next thing that you're going to do is just put a little dab of hot glue around the edges like that. Not much, just a little bit. And I always put the pencil side down so you can't see it. And it, that way it doesn't look all messy. And just like that. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So you can see the pencil marks. And that goes face down. I'm using low temp hot glue. Okay, so we have what looks like this. Now this is very easy. All you're going to do is you're going to push this in like this, the bottom with the thumb, and just squeeze it together. See how I have that? Then you're going to go back in with your glue gun and put a little bit of glue in between here, and then, just squeeze this together, hold it for a few seconds just to make sure that it's set. Okay. And then, as you can tell on the side, see, it looks like, almost looks like a little petal. Okay. So now I'm going to set this down here, and yeah, I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to pinch this like so. I'll come back in with my glue gun, put in a little bit like that. And if you wanted to do something really cute with your ears, now I didn't do it on the mouse I made, but you could take some of that Mod Podge gloss with the blue label that I use a lot in my tutorials, and dip your finger in it and maybe put some in here and use a little of the fine glitter in Glitz by Recollections, and you'd have little Christmassy sparkles inside the ear. That would be cute too. Okay, so now we have our 2 ears, and we have to decide where they're going to look the best. You don't want them down too low. You don't want them up too high. You probably want them just to where the little fluff ball at the top of his hat is. I mean, kind of in between that. So I'm going to put some hot glue right here on the side, and I'm going to glue it just like this, and I'm going to hold on to it. just for a few seconds. Then I'm going to do the same thing on this one on the other side. About here, I think it was. Yeah. So I'm going to hold on to that like so. Okay. Aren't they cute? Okay, so now the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to make yarn arms. And that part is really easy. You're going to need white yarn. This is Vanna's Choice yarn by Lion Brand, and I picked that up at Hobby Lobby when it was on sale. This is a 4 medium. Okay, so you're just going to take a piece of yarn, and actually, don't worry about it being too long, because if we're going to trim it down, I would rather have you cut a longer piece of yarn than a shorter one. Okay, so I'm just kind of fold this in half like this, and I'm going to tie a couple of overhand knots at the very bottom. Going to kind of push it down a little bit like that, and I'm going to actually make 2 of them, one on top of the other. Okay, and so it looks like that. Okay, so you're going to pull this pretty tight because you don't want it to come undone, and you're going to cut this off. And if you want, you can take some white glue real thin on your fingers and kind of dab here like that and let it dry so it won't unravel. Okay, so now I'm going to cut this loop in half, and we're going to glue it on here. Okay, and if we have any excess at the end, we can just cut it off once it's glued on, but we kind of want to get an idea of where we want to put this, and I think this looks good just about here. So I'm going to come in with a glue gun on this side first and lift that up. Put just the tiniest amount. You don't need a lot to make that stick. Just give it a chance to cool and dry. And once again, I'm using low temp. I'd never be able to put my fingers in it like that if it wasn't, that's for sure. Okay, and I'm going to do the same thing on this one. I think about here looks good. So I'm going to go in, put just the tiniest amount. Yeah, I'm going to let that dry. Okay, so this side here looks like it's dried. This side here. So I'm just going to cut the excess off, and want to make sure this is thoroughly dry before I cut anything off here. Yeah. Okay. And I'm going to cut that off. Alright, so we have our arms right here, okay? Alright, so now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a little candy cane. And you can see that she's holding a candy cane like that. I put it just above her little hands. The candy cane was so easy to make. Okay, so I have a couple of pieces of pipe cleaner here. One in red, one in white. Going to even it up and twist at the very top. Make sure it's together. And then just continue twisting all the way down like this. And okay, So now we have what looks like this. I'm going to take my cheap wire cutters from the Dollar Tree, cut that off. Then I'm going to take my pencil here and I'm going to bend a loop at the top so it looks like a candy cane. And I might cut just a smidgen right here off the bottom. Not much, just a little bit. Yeah. So now I'm going to glue her like this, or glue this onto her like that. And I don't know why I called it a her, because so I'm going to put a little bit of hot glue here and put this just right above her hands, like so. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a little yarn tail, and that's extremely easy as well. I'm going to cut another piece of white yarn, and you can make it long because we can always trim it if we need to. And I'm going to tie about 3 knots, one on top of the other, at one end of the yarn, like so. Okay, and you're going to pull. You want it to be snug. Going to cut it off. Once again, if you don't want this to unravel, you can take some white glue, rub it very thin on your fingers, and just dab it and let it dry. So I'm thinking it might look good if the tail were about here, and let's see, maybe about like this, because you want a little bit of the tail to wrap around, but you don't want it, you know, so crazy that it's really long. So I think that's about right. So I'm going to turn this over and put a little dot of glue underneath here, and then put the tail, tap the tail back down, and I'm going to let it dry. Once it dries, then we'll just cut off this excess here, okay? I shouldn't have put my fingers in it like that. See what I did? I didn't wait, I was impatient. That'll teach me, huh? Okay, so let me put this on again. And this is something that you really shouldn't rush anyway, so I do want to get some of that excess glue off though. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to let it dry. Blow on it. There. Okay. Cut the excess off. So now we have a little tail. Might be up a little high. I don't know. Yeah, I think it's okay. What do you think? Huh? I think it's all right. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a little scarf. That was super easy to do as well. I chose some green felt and just, you know, the rectangles of felt that you find in any craft store. And I used my towel scissors for this. And all I did was just cut, a fairly narrow piece. I'd say maybe 1/4 of an inch. And I just cut one long strip all the way down. And believe it or not, you're going to use this whole strip. show you. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here and going to loop that underneath like that. And I'm going to pull, but I'm not going to be real tough on it. It's going to be a gentle pull because I don't want to rip the felt. Alright. And then I'm going to put a little dot of hot glue. Like so. Now, let me see. I think about like that. I think I'll do it like that. Right underneath. Okay. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to cut some fringe. Like that. Just be careful not to cut the fringe off, just like I just did on this one side. Hopefully I can kind of fix that. There we go. Okay. So, I can probably make this a little thinner. Just have to be careful. Okay. Yeah, that looks a little better, I think. Alright, so now I'm going to grab a little snowflake embellishment. Now I bought these snowflakes at Michael's, and basically they're brads. You can use any snowflake embellishment you want. You don't. It doesn't have to be a brad. I've had a couple of people on my snowman one send me messages saying, I can't find the snowflake brads at Michael's. You don't have to have those. You can buy snowflake embellishments at the Dollar Tree. They have them. You know, any craft store has actual snowflake embellishments too that you can use, so don't think you have to stick with brads. This is just what I had on hand. Okay, so I'm going to put a little bit of the hot glue on here and place that brad right here. Okay? Alright. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make the face. And you're going to need a little white pom-pom, and this is approximately 12 millimeter. Okay? And now if it's off a millimeter or two, it's not going to hurt it, but this is an approximate guesstimate, I should say. I mean, I can measure this with my caliper and it comes out 12 millimeter, but it depends on which side of this you're measuring and how tight you want to push the caliper. But I'm saying 12 millimeter, okay? So I'm going to put a little dot of glue here. And I'm going to put this right here, almost down by the top of the scarf here. And I'm actually going to push because I want that hot glue to spread out when I'm pushing. Okay. And I'm going to leave that like that. I know it looks funny right now. Okay. Then the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to put blush on the mouse's little cheeks. I'm using the LA Colors I bought from the Dollar Tree. And, oh, got hot glues. And it's in pink blush. Okay. And I just grabbed this from the Dollar Tree because it was the pinkest blush that they had. So we're using a Q-tip. And I'm just putting quite a bit of this on here. Like that. And I'm going to put some right here. I'm going to just rub it in for one cheek. And the same thing on the other side, holding it. I'm going to put some on this cheek. Okay. Okay, so next we're going to put little whiskers. And that was actually really easy to do. You can find any hemp cord that you use to make the macrame type bracelets with. I found this at Michael's. It's Bead Landing. Doesn't really give a size, but I mean, you look at it and you can see that it's ultra thin. Looks like maybe about the size of a whisker. So I'm just going to cut this. And I'm going to cut 4 pieces. If you want, you can cut 6 and do 3 whiskers on each side, but I'm just doing 2 whiskers on each side. And I'm going to cut, about this much here. And it doesn't really matter if it's a little too long, because you can go back after you glue them on and snip them to the right size if you want. So that's what I'm going to do, but I'm just going to try to measure as close as I can by lining the first one that I cut up. Okay, and I'll put these little whiskers right here. And this hemp cord is very stiff. Yeah, I didn't have it in the black, so I used the dark brown. And I still think it looks good. Okay, this will be my last whisker. Okay, so this is what I did. Well, I actually did this on a silicone mat, but I'm going to do it right here on a paper towel because I want you guys to see what I'm doing. All right. Now you can, if you want, you can use tweezers to put them on, or you can just use your finger. I think it's easier just to use my finger. So you're going to take some hot glue and you're going to put just a little dab like that. And you're going to quickly put your whisker in it, kind of twist your whisker like that. And you're going to put right here, see behind the nose like that, and it'll stick on its own. And then I'm going to put a second whisker right underneath that, and I'm going to do the same thing. And I have to put a new little dot like this for each one I put on, because by the time I go to put the second whisker on, the first little puddle of hot glue or little dot of hot glue that I put on is already drying. Okay, and like I said, we'll shorten those. Okay, and so then I'm going to do the other side. And it helps if you tilt it upwards like this so you can see where you're putting the whiskers. And then I'm putting another whisker here. Okay, so I'm going to take my little detail scissors, move this out of the way, make sure that they're dried, and then tilt it and maybe cut the whiskers to about where you want them to be, lengthwise. So I think these turned out pretty good. Maybe slightly shorter on this end. Not much though. Wish my hands would quit shaking. Okay. Alright. So there we go. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to put the mouse's eyes on and his nose. Okay. And you're going to use black puffy paint for that. And you can pick this up for anywhere between $1 and $1.40 a bottle. Now, if you want, you can put a bright pink nose and black eyes, but I'm sticking with the black. Okay. And you want to tilt this when you're putting this on. Don't shake the puffy paint or you'll be sorry. It'll explode all over the place. Okay. Now what I do is, if you want it, the puffy paint, you know, at the very bottom, I just do one hard strike like this on the ground. But I don't sit there on the surface, but I don't sit there and shake it, okay? And it's probably best if you check your puffy paint before you actually put it on the face by just seeing on a paper towel if it's okay and if it's not going to spurt. The reason why I'm telling you this is because, you know, when you work this hard on your mouse, you don't want to mess up the face. Because that's something you cannot fix with puffy paint. So I'm going to put two eyes that are fairly close together, like so. And then I'm going to wipe the tip of the puffy paint bottle on a paper towel. And for the nose, I'm going to squeeze and kind of drag an oval shape, and you can kind of direct it if you want a little bit with your nozzle at this point. Okay, so I'm going to leave it about like that. Now you can see that there's just the tiniest bit that got on here, right here. I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to allow it to dry. Then I'm going to come back in and snip that little tinky black spot off right there. Now you're going to have to let it lay, or let it lie flat. So I'm just temporarily putting this here, and then I'm going to probably fold up one of the sock ends to see if I can get the head fairly level to dry. That, you know what, I might need it just like that. Yeah, because you don't want, yeah. So the actual puffy paint on the face is the most tedious part. So that's the part that you want to allow to dry, and make sure that you don't touch it to test it or anything like that. You want it to be 100% dry. Because like I said, when you work this hard on your little mouse, and then you have to go back and, you know, start from square one because you messed up on the face, that's no good. That makes for a very sad crafter. Now the last part we're going to do is, and I have to keep this flat like that. The last thing we're going to do is put on his little mousy feet. This part is so easy. And if you look at my little feet here, they're not 100% perfect. They don't have to be. So I'll show you what I did. I just took some pink felt and I freehanded this one. And I just cut a couple of pieces like that. And okay, now this part here, I'm just going to cut like a couple of oval shapes. Like this. Okay. Then I'm going to take those apart like that. And then I'm just going to cut kind of long, skinny triangles. A couple of them. I'm going to cut those out on each foot. And I'm just going to kind of cut the rounded part off now on the side. Like I said, it doesn't have to be perfect after all. They're mouse feet. So I'm going to put one little one there. And I'm going to do the same thing here. And cut the rounded off part here. At first I thought they were going to look like duck feet, but they didn't. They turned out okay, you know. So usually what I would do, and I hesitate doing this for too long because I don't want this to drip, but what I did was kind of set the feet up kind of like this at an angle, and then I sat the mouse on it to see about where it would look good. Then I just lifted it up and put a little hot glue here, a little hot glue there, and sat it back down. Okay, so let me move this little mouse over and I'll attempt to do that quickly. Okay. Alright, so about like here. Very quickly, hot glue, hot glue. And I'm going to put the mouse down on it. Okay, it's because really basically you just want to see the toes anyway. Sticking out. You don't want to see the whole foot. I think his toenails need clipping. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Okay. So I think this is going to be really cute when it's finished drying. And, you know, see, it wasn't tough at all. Just takes a little time. And I'm hoping that I have enough time to make up some little mice before Christmas for family, but if not, then this will be a good project for next year. So, and I was thinking about maybe adding a little jingle bell or something, hot gluing that right here at the top. You can do anything you want with this little guy. So, I think this guy will be a good craft fair seller as well, because I've had so many people, I can't even number the people, that have messaged me or emailed me and told me that when they made the sock snowmen, that those sold out, every single one of them. I mean, at craft fairs and everything. So, anyway, I hope you enjoy this, and thank you so much for watching and bearing with me and listening to me drone on about things. And I'm going to lay him flat because I want him to dry his face. But when he's all dried, I'll take a picture and put it on my blog. Okay, so God bless each and every one of you. And if you have a chance, please stop by my blog, Happy Birds Crafting Inspirations, and I'll put a link down below in the drop-down bar. God bless you. Bye-bye. Oops, wait a minute, don't go. We almost forgot our little Christmas mouse's heart, and he definitely needs a heart. So I put a little hot glue on this embellishment and put it on the left side like that. Isn't that cute? And I found these embellishments at the Dollar Tree last February for Valentine's Day. Came in a fairly good sized package with 3 different sizes, and this is the medium size heart. And they've had them there the last couple years in a row, so if you look this February, I'm thinking that you're probably sure to find them. So if you're looking for red hearts right now, and they're kind of off-season, Recollections carries red heart embellishment stickers, and they are at Michael's. I don't know about the other craft stores, I just know about that one. So, anyway, I thought this really added just the perfect touch. Okay, that's it. And once again, please come to my Facebook page. And it is Happy Birds Crafting Haven Inspirations. And I'll have the link down below in the drop-down bar. God bless you all. Bye-bye.